So, I like to think I know a lot about this game. Maybe not everything, but I think I have a good grasp on how SF6 is designed and how this game works, and kind of the logic and purpose behind every move in the game. However, there is one move in Street Fighter 6 which is so bizarre, so useless, so unnecessarily complicated, and so strangely designed that I have to talk about it. Before we get started though, did you know that studies have shown the average Broski subscriber is 13% more handsome than the average person, and 44% more likely to meet a capybara at some point in their life? The numbers don't lie, folks. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and let's get on with the video. Okay, so originally I was actually gonna include this as part of my Terry breakdown video, but the more I investigated this move, the more I tried to find use cases for it, and the more baffled I was, so it ended up becoming an entire video by itself. The move I am talking about is this. Terry's lane change target combo, officially known as passing sway. So I'm going to start with a breakdown on how this move works, and then explain why absolutely nothing about this move makes any sense. If you guys didn't know, this thing is meant to be like a reference to a mechanic from the Fatal Fury games, where you could like step into the foreground or the background to avoid your opponent's attacks. Because you see like Terry kind of steps out of the stage and then back in again. That's the idea behind it. So in Street Fighter 6, this move has been turned into a target combo, which is performed with medium punch into medium kick. Like that. This target combo also has two special follow-ups. Lariat, which is performed with a medium punch. Like that. And the knee, which is performed with a medium kick. Which is like that. So you can also hold forward while performing both of these follow-ups to cause yourself to switch to the other side. Like that. So, notably, it is not possible for Lariat to hit if you hold forward to side switch. So as you can see, if I hold forward, the Lariat whiffs. And likewise, the knee will whiff if you don't hold forward. So if I just do the knee follow-up without holding forward, this happens. Terry goes nowhere and whiffs. So you've got a cross-up, you've got a same side hit, and you can also make it whiff by holding certain directions with certain follow-ups. Now, let's get into why this move gives me a massive headache. First up, I avoided mentioning this straight away, but this entire move can only be performed on hit. If you try and perform this thing on block, Terry won't step into the background and he'll just be left extremely punishable at -8. So as you can see here, I'm trying to do it on block. It just does not activate the follow-ups, and you're... Wait, -12? I had this written down as -8. It's actually -12. Correction, it's worse than I thought. So this alone, before we even get into the details, makes it extremely hard to justify using it. Since a lot of the time, you're only likely to be able to go into this thing from like, say, a crouch medium kick drive rush starter. And if you do that, you're already forfeiting a massive amount of damage compared to just ending the combo normally. Like, let me show you guys a couple of examples. So, if I start a combo with this, and I just go for a normal combo, I can do this. Now, doing that, I managed to drag my opponent all the way into the corner, and do 2,255 damage, and get Oki afterwards. If I decide to go for the lane switch stuff... The combo did how much before I went for the follow-up? 1,525. So I lost 700 damage from my combo in exchange for going into this thing. And I didn't get the corner either. So that's the first thing to mention. You have to forfeit a ton of damage just to even get this thing initiated. So you're probably thinking, okay, maybe it's bad as a combo tool. But because this thing has like a same side follow-up and a cross-up follow-up, that means it's probably meant to be like a left-right mix-up, right? Wrong. This mix-up is absolute garbage. I have to stress this. So for one thing, left-right mix-ups in Street Fighter 6 are a lot weaker than in any previous Street Fighter game because of the existence of one mechanic, parry. And since parry defends in both directions, it will completely protect you regardless of which side your opponent decides to go for. So I'm just parrying right now. And it doesn't really matter where he reappears. I just cover both directions. Now, I hear some of you saying it is possible to bait your opponent's parry. Like I said earlier, you can force the follow-ups to whiff on purpose and use this to bait a parry for a throw punish. And if you do that, it looks like this. So, if you are certain your opponent is going to go for a parry to protect themselves from the left-right, you can intentionally whiff the follow-ups to give yourself a punish counter throw. The problem with this is that it's an unbelievably risky play because... And I genuinely don't understand why this is the case. Terry is minus 27 if you whiff the follow-ups on hit. So let me just show you an example of like what this looks like. If you decide to try and bait your opponent's parry, but you're wrong with the guess, this is what you're going to expect to happen. So yeah, you are risking death if you are wrong with this parry bait. And here's the thing. Terry is the one initiating the mix-up. This is why it's such a bad mix-up. Terry is the one initiating it, and somehow he's the one that takes on all the risk when it comes to left-right versus throw, which is a bad start. But it gets so much worse from here, folks. Let's say you throw your combo damage away, going for the lane switch, and your opponent doesn't parry, and you manage to successfully mix them up with the cross-up. Let's say you manage to clear all three of those conditions to get this thing started. What is your reward? Do you know what your reward is for doing that? Absolutely fucking nothing. For some completely incomprehensible reason, the cross-up follow-up to this mix-up is only +3 on hit. So this will not link into anything. There is no combo from this. You just get to put your opponent in like a strike throw mix-up afterwards. Which, like I said, this is an insane balancing choice considering how hard it is to land this thing. I don't get it. Now, even more weirdly, the same side lariat follow-up gets to be +4. This one, if you decide to stay same side, is actually plus enough that you can link off it. So you can actually get a jab link off this. Like that. But for this situation to happen, you have to initiate this whole stupid target combo by choosing to kill your own damage versus going for a normal combo. Then you had to pray your opponent didn't go for a parry. Then you had to somehow make your opponent think that you were going to go for the cross-up follow-up. And then you had to subvert that by going for the no mix-up and staying same side. And your reward for all that is a fucking jab combo. Now, you might think I'm done, but I'm not. Come join me even further down the rabbit hole of this insane move. So, I've talked about the lunatic logic behind this move's mix-up properties on hit. Let's talk next about what happens if you block this thing. At the very least, I can say that neither of the follow-ups are punishable on block. At the very least. So, the cross-up is -2, and it does a decent amount of pushback, so you're not actually in throw range after this thing. It is safe, and interestingly, the lariat, surprisingly, is actually +3 on block. And you might be thinking, wow, +3? That sounds pretty good, actually, you know, compared to everything we've seen so far. +3 on block? That sounds pretty decent. Wrong. Once again. So, despite the fact this thing is +3 on block, the lariat follow-up leaves you outside of throw range. So, can you see here? I'm outside of a scooping distance. So, even though I get plus frames, I can't even tick throw my opponent, and I have to risk going for like a micro walk throw afterwards just to get like a basic throw shimmy mix-up going. You have to like walk up throw a little bit. So even as a plus on block pressure tool, this thing is really bad. Another thing about this move that, I mean, this alone should be instantly disqualifying is this detail. Every special move performed by my opponent while I'm doing the lane switch will autocorrect. I don't know if you guys knew about this. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you guys two recordings. So I've recorded the same side and I've recorded the cross up. And what I'm going to do in response to this is mash EXDP as if I'm on player one side. This is not a crosscut DP. This is a regular EXDP on the player one side. You look at my inputs. It's in front. Oh, did you see that? He went behind me and I still DP'd it, but look at my inputs. I'm still doing a player one side DP. You don't even have to adjust your reversal. It will punish on both sides. So, literally the only way Terry has of making this thing not instantly lose to DP mash is you have to manually delay the follow-ups, which makes the mix-up even slower. Let me show you that. If I delay the follow-up with a very specific timing, this might take a few attempts. There we go, right? With a special manual delay that is actually quite awkward to hit, you can make DP mash here with, but it's insanely hard to make this happen without the DP auto-correcting. So, like, I have to manually delay and intentionally slow down the cross-up just to make this thing not lose to DP mash. What the fuck was Capcom cooking with this thing? So, again, you might think I'm done here, but somehow I have even more to rant about when it comes to this thing. So after all that, you're probably wondering what use, if any, does this thing have? And I can say this thing does have one extremely niche usage. You can use this target combo to get a side switch combo from a punish counter DI. So I'll show an example of that. So let's say you're cornered and your opponent tries to go for a sneaky drive impact to wall splat you. What you can do is this. That. You can go for a delayed drive rush and then juggle into the side switch follow-up from the knee. And this will give you a side switch. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can forgive this move. For all of its sins, maybe I can forgive it if it has one small use case. But even with that, there are two huge problems with this combo. So, problem number one. Eagle-eyed viewers might be wondering, why did he start that combo with a drive rush? Why was the drive rush necessary here? This is why. Capcom intentionally killed the juggle potential on this target combo to prevent you from doing it out of a crumple without starting with a drive rush. You are forced to drive rush here, or this just straight up will not combo. And what's crazy is this was an intentional nerf. This was an intentional nerf, because you guys want to see something crazy? If I do the same side follow-up, it does juggle. If I just do the lariat, that is a combo. So this means that Capcom intentionally decreased the juggle potential on the side switch follow-up to make it worse as a combo tool. You don't need the drive rush if you're staying same side. But if you decide to cross up, the one use it has, you need to spend drive on that. They intentionally nerfed it. That's reason number one. Reason number two, the problem with this combo route, Terry doesn't even need it. For all of his flaws as a character, Terry is a character with multiple ways to side switch from this combo starter, including options that cost 0 drive. Like, look at this. You could spend 1 drive on doing something like this, or you could spend 0 drive doing something like this, which also side switches and even gives you like a free meaty burn knuckle afterwards. That's a side switch that doesn't cost any drive. He's also got this as well. You could do that. He's actually got a ton of ways to side switch out of a DI counter anyway. So like, the one goddamn use case this move has, and it's still not worth using compared to his other side switch routes. Like, maybe it's worth using as his like optimal punish counter DI side switch for precisely 1 bar of drive usage. Is that what Capcom was planning? When they designed this thing, did they say that the point of this whole target combo is that it's the optimal 1 drive extension for a side switch in the corner? Is that what they were cooking? I don't know, man. Can you hear me getting increasingly more upset as this progresses? I'm getting more belligerent as we're getting through this. Oh, man. Wait, I'm gonna add this in post. I've just found something even stupider. This doesn't even work in the corner. You straight up can't even cross people up in the corner. It's mid-screen only to even initiate the mix-up. I didn't even know that was a thing. Good God. You have to do it mid-screen, it just does not work in the corner? Oh my God. Alright, I'm gonna add that in editing, because that's just so insane. So there you have it. Terry's whole lane switch target combo is a move that you can only initiate in the first place by voluntarily nerfing your own combo damage. It's followed by a mix-up that makes no sense and is more risky for Terry than it is for the person on defense. And it's also a completely replaceable juggle tool that fills a niche that doesn't exist. I genuinely have no idea what Capcom thought this would be useful for, or why it would be preferred over just finishing a combo normally. I guess I'm expecting this thing to get changes in future balance patches, because right now it makes no sense at all. Anyway, rant over. Is there some secret hidden use case for this thing that I missed? Let me know down in the comments if you guys have found some reason, some crazy scenario where this is a good idea to use. But until then, I will see you guys all in the next video.